Hey guys, Barry and Derrick with Xmntn.com here. Today we're in the shop over here at Sportsman's Elite again, and we're talking about cleaning. Now, I've got a Facebook group, local shooters here in El Paso, and one of the things that I've really been sort of advocating, and I fell into this cult about a year ago of not being crazy anal about cleaning my ARs, and a lot of folks have sort of given me a lot of grief, and they go crazy when I show them dirty rifles. They freak out, and yeah, I know it will work, and they say, well, just because it can doesn't mean you should. But just to prove the point, Derrick and I actually went out and shot a multi-gun competition about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks
out
ago.
in Las Cruces, which is about 40 miles from here.
Dustiest day ever, basically.
Dusty day. Yeah, so some southern New Mexico desert sand blowing around, like 30-mile-an-hour winds all day. Sand just on and in everything. And one of the bad things, and it didn't even occur to me much until we were there, was as a safety measure for the match, the safety officer insisted on everybody having chamber flags to show chambers were clear, which is understandable. I mean, it's a safety issue.
Right.
You just want to make sure that all the guns that aren't on the line are safe. Unfortunately, that also means that we can't close our dust covers, which is sort of what they're designed for, and we couldn't use them. So,
and honestly, it was so bad that day that it probably still would have come out pretty bad.
It wouldn't have helped much. Yeah, I actually had a scarf that I wrapped around the
that was a good idea.
Action. It worked a little bit, but it's still, the sand is so fine, and so it just gets into everything. It just went right through that scarf in a lot of places. But like I said, making a point, I have not cleaned this gun since we got back. From that. The only thing that I did was I brought it over here, Sportsman's Elite. I used an air compressor just to blow just any sand that was sitting on the surface. The turrets on the scope, on this Trinity Force scope, were completely filled with sand. I mean, they wouldn't turn. They were so gritty. It was pretty awful. I blew the sand out of that. Those are working fine. All the levers and everything are working. There is still a whole bunch of sand in the actions here. It's all inside there. My charging handle is filthy. We can open this thing up here. Actually, I'm going to close that. Oop, that pin is awfully gritty. And we'll take this completely apart. If I can get that one to come out. There it goes.
I've been wondering how dirty this thing is going to be.
And you can see I'm already getting dirty here, but why isn't that coming off? There we go. So we can see the trigger mechanism, all that action inside there is all pretty dirty. Again, I mentioned this, we just went out and shot this. This is not clean, but it is lubricated. So when people say, you have to clean your gun, you can't run it dry. I'm not running it dry. I'm running it dirty. There is still lubrication on it. This is just fire clean that we've used on this gun. I actually have used it on all of my ARs. And everything on here is completely dirty. I'm getting very black just from the touching the front of that hammer there. But like I said, we took it out just a few minutes ago.
So when you can hear the dirt.
Yeah, when you can hear that. That's got a lot of buildup on it. A lot of carbon and sand and junk and sand down there in the channels. It's getting all over me here. I'm going to grab a little paper towel. Sportsman's Elite was nice enough to let us come in here, use their gunsmithing shop for the day to do this cleaning, because I've got cleaning stuff at home, but it's nice to have the space and the table, and so we definitely want to thank them for that. So that, like I said, we shot that match 2 weeks ago. This gun hasn't been cleaned. We did take it out to the range just before we came back here, just sort of a function test, make sure everything's still working. We shot about another 50 rounds, 60 rounds through it, something like that. Worked flawlessly, of course. I mean, I never really had a doubt that it would. Oh, I do want to mention real quick, this is a gun that I built. This is an Aero Precision lower, Aero Precision upper. Gosh, now I don't remember who made that barrel. Just a standard M16 bolt. I think we bought that here in the shop. No name brand. This is my competition gun, so this doesn't really do a whole lot of work generally. So there's nothing really fancy about it. But so, like I said, I'm not big on cleaning. I don't generally do much of it. I put lubrication on it, fire clean. Sometimes we use the Impro 7, whatever happens to be handy. But I was up at SHOT Show, just got back from SHOT about 2 weeks ago, and one of the things that I noticed while I was there is I stumbled upon these guys. So this is a company called Schmeiser, and Schmeiser is a German company. They make, I actually was walking past their booth and they had a pistol, a Schmeiser 9mm pistol that I was looking at. And as I was sort of checking things out, their rep came over and he mentioned that they have this thing, and what this is a Schmeisser Weaponcare package. This is a cleaning system, I guess. I mean, it's not, I hesitate to call it a cleaning kit because it doesn't have brushes or whatever, but this is a 4-part system for cleaning, really. It's got three cleaning components and then a lubrication oil. And so the way it works is you go kind of in order. There's the triple auto cleaner, which is, this is sort of the basic. We're going to spray that on the bolt, we're going to spray that in the upper, the lower, let it sit for a little bit, and then in theory we should be able to just kind of wipe everything off of it. And we're going to look and see how that goes. I'm going to wipe this stuff down just a little bit before we do that, just because there's a lot of fire clean on it, and I don't want to really skew anything, by leaving that on there. So I'm gonna wipe that down just a little bit, and then we'll move on to the triple bore cleaner. And the bore cleaner is a foaming agent for, guess what, cleaning the bore. And one of the neat things in it about it is it's a foaming agent, so as you spray it in, it foams, it expands, and it does have a copper solvent. And so while this stuff sprays out, it's a white foam. When it comes into contact with the copper, it turns blue. And so the idea is, spray it in there, it's going to turn blue, we're going to clean out the copper, repeat until there's no more blue. Gotcha. That's kind of nice. I mean, that's a really good, visual way to tell, without having to inspect too closely. We should be able to just kind of look at it and say, oh, there's no more blue foam in there, so that's it. This foaming stuff comes with a little attachment here, and it comes with two things. So this one goes on to the top there, as you would imagine, and then this actually has a 4-way nozzle on it that as the foam comes out, it just comes out of those, and it kind of disperses the spray, so that we'll put it into the barrel, down the barrel quite a ways, pretty much as far as we can. And as we spray it, I'm going to kind of pull it out, I think, is the way that what's going to work best. Hopefully, I think the biggest issue I'm going to have is just actually getting this down the bore. Right. There's a joke about pushing rope here somewhere, but so that's the bore. That's the bore cleaner. It's also got just the regular old nozzle that you can put on it, so that if you just want to spray it into the chamber, right, the feed ramps, that kind of stuff. The next one, which actually we're not going to use today because I don't think it's going to be worth it for me today. This is for cleaning your optics, and this is just for cleaning glass. Those aluminum pieces. It's got an anti-fog stuff, so you can put little coatings and stuff like that. That'll come in handy for, I think, a lot of shooters who may rely a lot more on their optics, long range stuff. They want to keep them clean, keep them up to speed as much as they can. This particular optic that I've got, like I said, this is my competition gun, so I don't use it a whole lot. The optic is fine, and I sort of am running this optic until it fails. This is the Trinity Force one that we bought, about a year ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was an inexpensive optic, and like I said, I'm just sort of running it until it breaks. And this is actually kind of coming loose a little bit there, so maybe that's going to be the first thing that goes. But so I'm not going to be going into the optic cleaner too much. And then the last thing is the lubrication. So this is their triple weapon oil, and I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I'm not an engineer or anything, but somehow this is a ceramic gun oil, and as it was explained to me, this is going to put a sort of a thin coating of ceramic film or something, I guess.
Teflon
They call it,
I guess.
a Teflon coating sort of thing. This is rated for very high temperatures. Of course, inside of these guns do get pretty hot. So this is what we'll be putting on, just a little bit of this, and I'm going to skip the fire clean entirely, which is contrary to my nature. But this is we're going to be trying that stuff out.